Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to share with you my March wrap-up part 2, and I have 4 more books to talk about that I read in March, so let's go ahead and get into it. First up, I read in the second half of March, Forgive Me, Leonard, Peacock by Matthew Quick, and I picked this one up initially because I really love the Silver Linings Playbook by Matthew Quick. I thought that it was quirky and funny, but also had some serious moments, and so I was thinking this one would be the same. I found this book to be quite a bit darker and less quirky. However, I did enjoy it. For those of you that don't know what this book is about, it is about a guy named Leonard Peacock, and he is in high school, and one day he wakes up, well, not one day, on his birthday, he wakes up and he decides he's going to kill his former best friend, Asher, and then he is going to kill himself. Before he does that, he has 4 people that he wants to go and see and give gifts to and kind of say goodbye to before he does this horrible thing. I think that the writing in this book was really good. I thought that Leonard's perspective was very true to angsty teens, and he is definitely an angsty teen. So if you don't like angsty characters, you're not going to like this book. I, however, was a bit of an angsty teen myself, so I identified with him on a lot of levels. Not surprisingly, this book had a lot of sad moments in it. I especially found Leonard's relationship with his mother to be especially heartbreaking. But I think that it also had some hopeful moments as well. And like I said, it's a lot darker than the Silver Linings Playbook. And I really shouldn't be surprised by that because the plot, the synopsis, is pretty dark. It has a lot to say also about how the little things that we do every day, or the little ways that we interact with people every day, can actually have a really huge impact on people's lives, and I liked that part about the book. So overall, I really liked this. Like I said, if you don't like angsty characters though, you might not like it. I did though, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I'm going to talk about is Cast a Cold Eye by Alan Ryan, and I got this in my February Nocturnal Readers Box, and I was super excited to pick it up and read it in March because it took place in Ireland. And I have Irish heritage, ancestors from Ireland, and I just am in love with the country and the culture, and I want to visit Ireland someday. So yeah, I was super stoked about this book. What the book had going for it was that it is a love story, in a sense, about Ireland. Lots of beautiful descriptions of the landscape and the weather and just things about the culture, and that part I really enjoyed. And I think anybody that is interested in Irish culture in the country would also really love that. However, I thought that the plot in this was incredibly slow and a little bit subpar, and I think that happened because more of the focus was on the setting. And so this book, I had kind of mixed feelings about it because the setting was great. I loved that Ireland itself was like a character in this book, but I felt like the plot was kind of weak. It's about a man who is a writer, an American. He goes to Ireland, to this really small town, to do research on a book he's writing about the famine. And mysterious things start to happen that he gets involved with, surrounding people in the town, and this priest who is like a central figure of the town. Like a lot of Irish towns, the priest is a very important figure. And like I said, I thought the plot was just super slow. And though it was interesting, and I think the ending was kind of beautiful in a way, for being a horror novel, it was kind of beautiful in a way. I just thought that the pacing was too slow for me. So I ended up giving this book 3 stars because I really, like I said, I really love the descriptions of the setting and how Ireland itself was like a character and all of that, but the pace was just too slow. This next book is the last book that I completed for middle grade March, and that one is James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. So in the first part of the month, I read the BFG, and then I read this. And this was another one that I had never read as a kid, so I wanted to pick it up. And this one I enjoyed. Not as much as the BFG though. Like all of Roald Dahl's books, there is a darkness, a dark humor. You know what I mean when you read Roald Dahl. There's just this this kind of creepy, dark vibes, and this definitely had that, and I really enjoyed that. It's about a boy named James who is living with these two terrible aunts because his parents were killed by a rhinoceros. I know, that sounds really odd, right? They were in London and a rhinoceros escaped from the zoo and they were killed by this rhinoceros. So again, Roald Dahl takes this very tragic thing. This poor little boy lost his parents, but he makes it kind of funny because they were killed by a loose rhinoceros. Like, how random is that? How weird is that? But so he is sent to live with these two terrible aunts who just treat him like complete garbage. And that part of it is obviously sad. And then he comes into possession of these magical seeds. And he accidentally drops them on the ground near this tree where he lives, and a peach starts to grow and grow and grow until it's just humongous. And the story kind of goes from there. And I thought that this had some really good, just like magical, just the magic in this, the kind of fairy tale vibe that it kind of had, I thought was really cool. I liked how he touched on how we shouldn't judge creatures, let's just say, how we shouldn't judge creatures or beings or people by their looks, because everyone is useful in their own way and has merit in their own way. And I really liked that. But I think for me, because I had just read the BFG and I really loved the BFG, and then I read this one and it just didn't quite grab me the same way, I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. However, I would definitely recommend it. Children would love it, and it was a cute book. And my final read in March, I'm really excited about, because it is my first 5-star read of the year, and that book is Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. Let me just, to sum it up, let me read a quote from the book, because it kind of sums up my feelings about it. I'm always sorry when pleasant things end. Something still pleasanter may come after, but you can never be sure. So, that's just kind of the vibes I get from this book. This book was such a joy to read. It's about a girl named Anne Shirley, who's an orphan. She goes to live with the Cuthberts, a brother and sister pair named Matthew and Marilla. And she kind of gets there by mistake, because the Cuthberts actually wanted a young boy to come and live with them to help them with the farm chores and things like that. And there was a mix-up and they got sent Anne. And they decide to keep her because she's such an interesting little girl. And I really, really loved this. I think Anne is such a wonderful character. She's so imaginative. She's so well-spoken. She's so passionate. I could just go on and on about her. She was just the perfect character for little girls, and even big girls like me, because I just totally loved her. I thought that the story was really fun. The way that Ellen Montgomery talks about Prince Edward Island and Avonlea in particular makes me want to live there. Like, I wish that I lived on that island in Avonlea, because it sounds like such a beautiful, wonderful place. And I just really liked this story. I thought that some of the antics that Anne gets into were just funny. I thought that Matthew was also a great character. He's just so quiet and reserved, but also just so kind-hearted and so wonderful. And I actually really loved Marilla too, because I thought that some of her like one-liners in dealing with Anne were just great. I kind of liked her sarcasm and just her way. I just thought that she was great as well. And I'm really excited to continue with this series. I'm hoping that, like I said in my April TBR, that I will be able to read the second book, because I just want to keep going with this story because I just love it. I love the world. I love the characters and everything, and I'm so glad I read it. So yes, 5 stars, my first 5-star of the year. So woohoo, super exciting. And yeah, if you haven't read Anne of Green Gables, you definitely should. It's a wonderful story, and I highly, highly recommend it. Alright guys, so those are the rest of the books that I read in March. So for a total, I read 10 books in March, which is a personal record for me. I'm super excited. As far as middle grade March goes, I think I read what, 4 middle grade books, and I completed 2 of the challenges. I read a children's classic, Anne of Green Gables, and then I read a book that was adapted to a movie. I actually read 3 because Coraline, the BFG, and James and the Giant Peach have all become films, so I kind of fulfilled that as well. The only one I didn't get to that I really wanted to was The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate. So maybe, hopefully I'll get to that soon, or maybe I'll save it for next year if we do middle grade March again. So that would be awesome, because I would love to take part in this readathon again. So I hope that Katie and Krista decide to do it next year. But yeah, I had a great reading month, so I'm feeling happy. So other than that though, I hope that you guys also had a great reading month. Please let me know down below what some of your favorite reads were for the month, because I would love to hear about them. And I hope that spring is treating you well. I'm so glad that spring is here. And that's all I have. So I will talk to you guys very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.